Hi, I'm Veronica Lee. It is the week of July 19th, 2021, and this is your weekly transformational forecast. What I want to share with you this week has a lot to do with the energies that are forming, but I also want to share about how we work with those energies a bit. So I've been speaking for the past few weeks about how a lot of information is coming in, some ideas are coming in, but we're not necessarily gaining clarity about those ideas. It seems to be a little bit scattered. Because of this transformation we're moving through, we may be feeling a little bit off, a little bit tired, and sort of that sense of, push-pull, go forward, but no, not yet. So a lot of that is still happening. But what's a little bit different this week is that we are likely experiencing a little bit more of this, like, oh, okay, there's some movement. Oh, okay, some ideas are breaking through, or something's happening. There's a sense of things starting to happen a bit. But as we move forward and have these senses of accomplishment or successes, what could also be showing up for us is a bit of fear and uncertainty, right? So it's not just that we are trying to, receive and implement, let's say divine inspiration and really understanding what it is our soul wants us to do. But as we're experiencing that and receiving it and trying to move through that, we are starting to come across some obstacles. And again, I've spoken to this before, that are around our deeper wounds. And for most of us, those are going to be around our worthiness. I speak to worthiness a lot. And it might be very specific for us, right? So in other words, it's not like, oh, you're just not worthy. It may not feel quite so big like that or so arching, but rather it might be, well, okay, you have this idea, but who's going to want that anyway? Or, okay, you may have a particular gift that you're trying to harness or, practice, but is it really that valuable? Or, okay, you're, bringing all of this, energy of who you are through your soul and you want to, bring it into the world, but how are you going to make money, right? So a lot of that stuff, very specific stuff, is coming up for us. And it's asking us to simply bear witness and, face that fear, right? And allow it to be seen and love it, through its own transformation. So the example I want to bring is most of us are, I don't exactly know how to explain this, but most of us who have come in highly awake came in with a lot of already intact gifts, ready to, shine, right? Ready to bring those gifts through naturally and easily. And yet, of course, there's the real world in which there's the pushback that might look like, well, how are you going to support yourself? What kind of a job are you going to do to make money so that you can pay, your mortgage, your rent, your car, whatever else? And the other is the placement of value. Where in the grander scheme of things is this really applicable and really helpful for all of us, right? So most of us came in with these unique gifts, and for me it happens to be I'm an intuitive, I see things in a collective way, and I bring forth information for people, and it goes onto YouTube and then somebody watches and go, okay, what's going to happen next week, or what is she going to say next week? And the reality might be that people may or may not resonate with that. Does that mean that I stop doing it? Does that mean that, fears, come and go? What does that mean for me? Well, for me, it's just about bringing forth information without necessarily expectation. There is nothing wrong with expectation, but what happens in this looping is that when we have this expectation that we are somehow going to be received by the world as the world is now, and then there's a little bit of pushback, or there's a little bit of, an energy of people not quite seeing you or getting you, then that's what will trigger that unworthiness, or, oh, I told you there was no reason for me to do this, or whatever's going on. So this energy of movement, that sense of wanting to bring forth who we are, wanting to really align with our soul purpose, wanting to bring our gifts through, that's all coming up, and it's coming up in some really big ways that can feel really exciting. A little bit confusing because it's not all coming in super clearly right now. There's still bits and pieces missing, but there is more. There's more that we can kind of go, oh, aha. But as this happens, we are experiencing that pushback from the external, from the world, right? You know, how valuable are you really? But also internally getting triggered by our own concerns that there's no place for us, there's no need for this, or there's something about us that's not quite right yet, right? So there's a lot of that concern about our worthiness. And of course, again, I've spoken to this a lot, worthiness is really our number one wound to heal, and we are collectively working toward that, but it's going to take some time. It is a collective agreement that when we were born, we said, hey, let's go ahead and take on this unworthiness feeling and let's work our way through that. And that's exactly what we're doing. So until next week, have a great rest of your week and enjoy experiencing whatever comes up for you.